The Vancouver Canucks have a serious problem. This starts with ownership, management, coaching, and the noise around this team. Everything has trickled down to a team that management claimed would be competitive and pushing for the playoff spot is currently sitting as the worst team in the National Hockey League, and the rumors continue to swirl around a team that is causing problems within. We got a quote from Adam Foote speaking today, saying there is no way to deny that Quinn Hughes trade chatter has made its way to the locker room. Now, I just want to put out there, I love that he addressed this, that he went out to say, yes, this is causing problems, but this feels like a repeat. It's like we're watching a soap opera. What happened last year? The feud between Petey and JT Miller, of course, which left in a trade. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say, yes, we're going to see a trade happen, and I'm not going to sit here and say JT Miller should be on this team because you kept the right player in Pettersson, but this is a team that consistently disappoints, and I'm not blaming the players. I'm blaming the management group and the ownership that has built and constructed this roster and not give them a chance to flourish. Looking at this, we know there's reports everywhere. We see from Darren Dreger, Vancouver's going to need a boatload back. Very specific pieces that would help them stay competitive. The word competitive that we continuously see Jim Rutherford bring up to this group, that no matter what happens in trades, they don't want draft capital, they want to stay competitive. Now, the word competitive, once again, would be fine if you're ranked 15, 18, 20, but a team that is currently 10 points out of a playoff spot, ranked 32nd behind a rebuilding and selling Nashville Predators and the Calgary Flames that is looking to try to get a top pick. This is a Canucks team, and I'm going to tell you exactly what the problem is with this team. But the fact that the 36th ranked, yes, we've dealt with injuries. Thatcher Demko coming back tomorrow. Thank God. We love to see it. Filip Hronek is back on the ice skating, but this is a team that is ranked 32nd, once again, wanting to stay competitive. If they move out their best player, the leading point getter for any defenseman, the franchise player in Quinn Hughes, is absolutely laughable to even look at with a franchise that is failing at the moment. Gary Mason did an awesome write-up today and reporting. I'm going to link this down below to see what was widely viewed as a young, up-and-coming team implode the way it has with a savvy, experienced NHL veteran in Jim Rutherford at the head of the management team, no less, in such a short period is unfathomable. And this is a big thing. We look at a Canucks team just 2 seasons ago when they went into the playoffs. They took the Edmonton Oilers with Artur Shilov's in net to Game 7, ultimately losing this. Since then, the Vancouver Canucks have not only not made the playoffs, but are currently sitting dead last, I'm going to continue saying it, in the NHL. From Grady, yesterday was our 4-year anniversary of the hiring of Jim Rutherford. The Canucks are essentially back to where they were, if not worse. Fans are even more pissed. The center depth is completely depleted. This team is in last place, not only by the standings, by the percentage points as well. Once again, a team that wants to stay competitive, a team that thinks they can be competitive, even if they move on from Quinn Hughes, is looking at a roster that is very much a dead last, and this is all leading back to, once again, the management. We're going to go farther into ownership. But looking at this, we've seen Jim Rutherford brought in and hired as the general manager for a short period of time, of course, when Jim Benning was canned. We've seen him immediately take over the president of hockey operations in 2021-22 when he named Patrik Allvin, of course, his successor as the GM of the Vancouver Canucks. Now, am I going to sit here and say, hey, this is on Jim, this is on Patrik Allvin? No, because there's a bigger person that leads the entire way, that funds this team and decides every choice. But the big thing is what we're going to see unfold with this Vancouver Canucks team, and it feels like, once again, a never-ending revolving door is we're going to see this ownership group look at their current president and general manager and say, hey, we need a scapegoat, and it does seem like these guys are going there. Now, we do get a report coming from a reporter on a name that has been linked to the Canucks, semi-linked at least, as their next president, as if they were going to offer the job that he would accept. But looking at the Canucks, since Jim Rutherford and Patrik Allvin had taken over. We can see they took over, lost in the conference semifinals. Since then, 3 straight playoff losses. We see the loss in the semifinals when they won a round, of course, losing to the Edmonton Oilers, which no one wants to talk about. But then immediately you miss the playoffs the year after making the second round in the playoffs, and then go into the season with 11-16-3 record. And once again, I'm going to continue saying it, 32nd in the NHL behind 2 teams that are looking at doing a rebuild. Now, the word rebuild, we love this in Vancouver, but ownership does not. We know this is a team that once fired Trevor Linden for even looking at the idea of it. Jim Benning came in, the very big yes man that is going to do anything for this franchise to get them competitive. Yeah, we won some playoff series, but looking at the grand schemes, since we had the Sedins, we lost in the Stanley Cup Finals. We hate to even look at this. Since then, you see, of course, they made the playoffs twice, losing in the first round. They missed the playoffs, made the playoffs, and the drought started. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say the drought like the Buffalo Sabres, of course, that is currently above the Canucks in the standings, but this is a team that goes back on not only this management group not being able to get it done, but when you look at every other management group within this Canucks system, of course, you had the Sedins, you had Burrows, you had Edler, you had Roberto Luongo. These guys helped you make it to the Stanley Cup Finals. The fact that the Canucks have not been able to do anything since then, and just the revolving door of bringing in players, it doesn't work out. You trade them, you bring in more players, and never letting that complete retool, rebuild, retool, build, whatever you want to call it. Something has to give with this group. Now, looking at this, I know this is not like me. I'm usually pretty up and giddy when it comes to the Canucks. I want the Canucks to win. But the big thing is, looking at this lineup, once again, yes, injuries, of course, have dismantled this team. Pettersson is currently out. Thatcher Demko finally back. We know Niels Höglander rejoined the team. You have Hedel out. You have Teddy Bluger. Jonathan Lecktermack just sank down. Derek Forbert. Do I continue the list? This is a team that is dealing with injuries, but the fact the management group cannot look at this team with the center depth, and once again, I don't want to hate on some of these guys, but David Kampf, Aatu Ratu, Max Sexton, and Drew O'Connor, the fact you have the gall, the ownership to look at this and say, hey, we're going to continue making the push. We want to go out and get win now assets. Yes, do I think this is a good Canucks team? Win healthy? Yes, God, yes. But this is a goddamn team that has not proven this season. And just seeing the reports, even from insiders, the word competitive, they want to stay competitive, has just boiled my blood. Am I going to continue watching this team? God, yes. Am I going to continue staying up till 2:30 in the morning because I am from Newfoundland watching this? Yes. Am I still coming to BC in March to watch a game? Yes, but the big thing is something has to give. Now we see Frank Cervelli, I'm going to call him a reporter. We see what Michael Bublé had to say about this guy, but do I think that Brendan Shanahan would be interested in the Vancouver job if it was open? Absolutely. Now Brendan Shanahan, if you don't know, was the former president of hockey operations for the Toronto Maple Leafs, who also have not achieved anything. When you look at recent playoff success, what did they win? 1-2 playoff series since 2004. Yes, bringing in a fresh face of Brendan Shanahan would change things up. I do once again believe that Jim Rutherford and Patrik Allvin are 2 very capable guys to go out, but with this ownership group looking down upon management, everything in between, it does make you feel, and I'm not going to say this out loud, but you can see the picture here. This is a team that it's not going to change under this ownership group. I'm not going to sit here and say I have cold hard evidence that we cannot see them selling the team, or if they don't, that they're not going to rebuild. But if you look at the past, the present, anything at the moment, everything aligns with a very good team that was always just continuously trying to achieve that Stanley Cup experience and making the Stanley Cup Finals without the roster to back it up. Once again, I love this team. Thatcher Demko, Pettersson, Brock, Garland. You can work your way down. Tom Villander looks like the future right-handed defenseman on this team. You can see Jonathan Lecktermack, a goal scorer, Braden Coots. There's so many guys. But what is going to give on this team? What is it going to take for things to change? Are we going to see Jim Rutherford leave on this team fire as a scapegoat, bringing in someone like Brendan Shanahan? Are we going to see ownership sell Leave all your thoughts down below on this because there's a lot to take in. Like I said, Gary Mason did an awesome article today and a big inspiration on this video. So if you want to go check that out, that will be linked down below. Once again, it's an awesome read and I thoroughly recommend looking through it. But what is your thoughts on this? What is your thoughts on the Quinn Hughes rumors? Are you over this team? We're going to continue giving you content, so don't miss out on that. I love talking to you guys. Listen, I'll do live streams and we can talk about anything at all. But the big thing is we're all Canucks fans at the end of the day. We want this team to win. Something just has to change because this team has a serious problem at the end of the day.